Hello, my loves. Here's Freya. Today, I'm going to narrate a letter written in one of the most difficult moments of someone's life. Each word carries pain, truth, and the courage to face a love that no longer existed. Stay with me until the end. This letter speaks directly to the soul. Hello, Freya. My name is Caroline. I am 37 years old. I never thought I would be writing this letter. For so long, I convinced myself that silence was easier than facing the truth. But tonight, as I sit here with nothing but the sound of my own heartbeat, I realize that staying quiet has cost me more than speaking ever could. I loved you. God, I loved you with everything I had. I loved you in ways I didn't even know were possible. I loved you through the late nights when you came home smelling like someone else's perfume. I loved you through the lies that became so frequent I started to recognize the pattern in your eyes before the words even left your mouth. I loved you through every broken promise, every forgotten anniversary, every time you chose her over me without even having the decency to admit it. But you know what the worst part was? It wasn't the cheating. It wasn't even the lying. It was watching you look at me like I was the problem. Like my pain was an inconvenience. Like my tears were just another thing you had to deal with after a long day of being someone else's hero. I remember the first time I caught you. You denied it so convincingly that I actually apologized for accusing you. Can you believe that? I apologized for having the audacity to trust my own instincts. And I did it because I was terrified of losing you. I was so afraid of being alone that I would rather believe your lies than face the truth. The second time you cried. You held me and you cried and you promised it would never happen again. You said I was your everything. You said you were broken without me. And like a fool, I believed you. Because I wanted to. Because I needed to believe that the man I fell in love with was still in there somewhere, buried beneath all the betrayal. But he wasn't, was he? Or maybe he never existed at all. Maybe I fell in love with the version of you that you created just for me. A character you played until you got bored of the script. And when the real you started to show, I kept pretending I couldn't see it. I kept making excuses. He's stressed. He's going through something. He loves me. He just doesn't know how to show it right now. The third time, you didn't even bother to deny it. You just stared at me with those empty eyes and said nothing. And somehow, that silence said everything. It said that I wasn't worth the effort of another lie. It said that you were done pretending to care whether I stayed or left. It said that I had become so small in your life that breaking my heart didn't even register as something important anymore. I stayed anyway. I stayed because I thought maybe if I loved you hard enough, you would remember how to love me back. I stayed because everyone around us thought we were perfect, and I couldn't bear the shame of admitting that it was all a lie. I stayed because leaving felt like giving up, and I was raised to believe that love means fighting, even when you're fighting alone. But tonight, something inside me finally broke. Not my heart, that broke a long time ago. What broke tonight was the part of me that kept hoping. The part that kept believing that one day you would wake up and realize what you were losing. The part that kept whispering, just one more chance. Maybe this time will be different. I saw her text on your phone. You left it on the counter like you didn't even care anymore if I found out. Or maybe wanted me to find out. Maybe you're too much of a coward to end this yourself, so you're waiting for me to do it for you. Well, congratulations. You win. I'm done. But before I go, I need you to know something. I need you to understand what you're losing. Because I don't think you do. I don't think you have any idea what it means to be loved the way I loved you. I loved you when you had nothing. I loved you when you were too proud to ask for help, so I quietly paid bills you didn't even know were overdue. I loved you when you lost your job and spent 3 months on the couch, and I never once made you feel small about it. I loved you through your darkness, your anger, your fear. I loved you when you didn't love yourself. I gave you everything I had, and you treated it like it meant nothing. You took my loyalty and used it as permission to do whatever you wanted. You took my forgiveness and turned it into a safety net for your mistakes. You took my love and you bled it dry. But I'm not angry anymore. Anger requires energy, and I have none left to give you. What I feel now is something much quieter and much more final. I feel free. Free from the exhausting work of loving someone who doesn't love me back. Free from the constant anxiety of wondering where you are and who you're with. Free from the woman I became trying to hold on to you, a woman I barely recognize anymore. I'm leaving, not because I hate you, but because I finally love myself more than I love the idea of us. I'm leaving because I deserve someone who doesn't make me feel like I have to earn their faithfulness. I'm leaving because I'm tired of being an option when I spent years making you my priority. I don't know what happens next. I don't know who I am without you, and that terrifies me. But what terrifies me more is the thought of staying and losing myself completely. So I'm choosing me. For the first time in years, I'm choosing me. I hope one day you realize what you had. I hope you find yourself lying awake at night, reaching for someone who isn't there anymore. I hope you finally understand what it feels like to love someone who doesn't love you back. Not because I want you to suffer, but because I want you to grow. I want you to become the man I always believed you could be, even if it's too late for us. This is goodbye. Not the temporary kind where we take a break and come back together. The permanent kind. The kind where I walk away and never look back. The kind where I block your number and delete your photos and remove every trace of you from my life. The kind where I finally close this chapter and start writing a new one. One where I'm the main character in my own story. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for showing me exactly what I don't want. Thank you for breaking my heart so completely that I had no choice but to rebuild it stronger. And thank you for letting me go, even if you don't realize that's what you've done. Goodbye, Caroline. Have you ever reached that breaking point where your heart finally says enough? Today, I'm sharing Caroline's story, a 37-year-old woman who found the courage to write the letter she never thought she'd have to write. This isn't just another breakup letter. This is the raw, unfiltered moment when someone's heart finally broke after years of holding on to a love that was slowly destroying her. Caroline loved a man who betrayed her, not once, not twice, but repeatedly. She loved him through the lies, through the cheating, through every broken promise. She stayed when everyone else would have left. She forgave when forgiveness seemed impossible. But there comes a moment in every painful relationship when something inside you finally shatters, not your heart, but your hope. That's what happened to Caroline. In this letter, she pours out years of pain, disappointment, and the devastating realization that the man she loved never truly loved her back. She writes about the nights she cried herself to sleep, the excuses she made for his behavior, the pieces of herself she lost trying to hold on to him. But this letter isn't just about pain. It's about awakening. It's about that powerful moment when a woman decides she's worth more than being someone's option. It's about choosing yourself even when it feels impossible. It's about walking away from the person you love because you finally love yourself more. Caroline's words will reach into your soul and touch every wound you've tried to hide. If you've ever loved someone who didn't deserve you, if you've ever stayed too long in something that was breaking you, if you've ever had to choose between your heart and your self-respect, this letter will speak to you. Every sentence carries the weight of truth. Every word is a mirror reflecting the pain so many of us have felt but couldn't express. This is more than a letter. This is a declaration of independence from a love that became a prison. If Caroline's story touched your heart, if you felt every word she wrote, I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button right now. Because here on this channel, we share stories that touch the heart and speak to the soul. We create a safe space where broken hearts can heal and where your pain is understood. Every time you like this video, you're telling Caroline and everyone else who's suffering that they're not alone. Every time you share this, You're helping someone else who needs to hear these words find the courage to choose themselves. Comment below and tell me your story. Have you ever had to walk away from someone you loved? How did you find the strength? Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. We're building a community here, a family of people who understand that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let go. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to Caroline's letter. Thank you for being here, for caring, for allowing these words to touch you. Your presence here means everything, not just to me, but to every person who shares their story. Remember, you are worthy of a love that doesn't break you. You are worthy of someone who chooses you every single day. And if you're in a situation like Caroline's right now, please know that walking away doesn't mean you failed. It means you finally succeeded in loving yourself. Until next time, my loves, take care of your beautiful hearts. This is Freya, reminding you that your story matters, your pain is valid, and your healing is possible.